What up, everybody? It's your boy Sack the King up in this motherfucking man, back with another video. And as y'all can see from the title and the thumbnail, um, I am doing a review on a movie, which normally I don't do. But this movie right here, when I watched it the other night on Netflix, it was the first movie to make me like really get emotional and tear up. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I damn near wanted to cry. And it really triggered me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like any veteran who's been through the kind of things that I've been through or that this person has been through in the movie and dealt with the same kind of situations throughout being a veteran discharged from the military. I gotta warn y'all, man, if you haven't seen this movie, it's really, really triggering. And the thing that made it most triggering for me, not that it was because I had served in Iraq like this person, not because I am a, combat veteran. It was because, not because I suffer from PTSD. It was because I've dealt with the same problem, you know what I'm saying, out of the VA. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, as you can see from the thumbnail, this movie is called Breaking, and it's a movie on Netflix, okay? And this movie was made in 2022. I'd never seen it until, I was just bored scrolling through Netflix the other day, and I just happened to, all right, it was the very last movie too, and I just said, fuck it, and I just pushed play. But this story is about a guy named Brian Brown Easley. This movie is based on a article that was written in the newspaper in Atlanta, Georgia, I believe, titled "They Didn't Have to Kill Him." And yes, I did kind of spoil the movie for y'all, but it's still an impactful movie. A little bit about this guy, Brian Easley. He was 33. He was a veteran of the Desert Storm and Iraq wars. He was a Marine. So he served in Desert Storm in the early 90s, and he served in Iraq in 2005, and he was discharged, okay? While he was discharged, or since he had been discharged from the Marines and he was decorated for his actions in war, like a lot of us, including myself, he suffered from PTSD. I'm not sure how bad his was or what the triggering things were for him, but I know things like this movie are things that are triggers for me, which is the reason why I do not watch any kind of like Iraq-based war movies. I don't really like to watch war movies anymore anyway from that time period. Like I can watch a Vietnam era war movie, no problem, but it's been a couple Afghanistan movies, that I watched, but those aren't like triggering to me because I wasn't in Afghanistan, but I was in Iraq, and I ain't gonna lie, I watched a movie with Jamie Foxx one time in Iraq, and I cut that shit off, bro. That shit was just, I don't know what it was that was just making me feel weird. But this shit right here, like, really brought tears to my eyes, bro. It really brought tears to my eyes. And the reason for this is, not to get too much off track, I'll tell you exactly why in a second. But this guy struggled with homelessness damn near, to the point where they said that he was checking himself into the mental hospital just to have somewhere to stay. He was sleeping in his car at times, you know what I mean? But he was getting an $892 VA check every month. And on the day of July 7th of 2017, he reached his boiling point and he went inside of a Wells Fargo bank in the Cobb County, Atlanta area, and he held the bank hostage. And the reason for that is because prior to that, he had went to the VA and he had noticed that the check that he was dependent on from the VA every month, being that he was service connected, did not hit his bank account. Usually it hits a bank account on the first of the month. It's never late, okay? And if it is, it's something wrong. So, he goes and he asks, like, hey, the counselor, like, hey, what's going on with my check? She says, well, you got some unpaid school debt. I guess when he went to, like use his GI Bill or something. He probably went to school, wasn't able to attend the classes, so he dropped out, and the VA recouped the money that he still owed since he didn't complete the school, and he was out of his $892 that he was dependent on that day. Now, mind you, it was the 7th of July that he did this. So he had a whole week of just dealing with trying to get his money back from the VA. And it shows in the movie, like, the lady just kind of like a lot of VA counselors are, because I've dealt with this. And she just was like, well, at least the bill is paid. And he's like, bro, I need my money now. You know what I'm saying? Like how can, it's not, you know, they're not supposed to take my money. Like, I already paid this debt. You know what I'm saying? So how can you, it's like double jeopardy. It's like you already paid the debt. For some reason, the paperwork or the communication got lost in the cloud, and now y'all taking my money until I get this shit resolved, but I still need my money. Now, let me tell y'all why this triggered me so much is because I dealt with the same exact problem in the same exact year, except my problem happened in 2017, but in January. So 4 months before he went and did this, I was dealing with the same thing out of the VA. And I'm going to tell y'all what's the worst thing about it is I worked for the VA at the time. I worked for the VA at the time, right? So I'm in the VA and I'm like, hey, I didn't get my motherfucking money on the 1st. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? This was January of 2017. And they're giving me the fucking runaround, telling me I need to call this number, call that number, call this number. No, I'm here at the VA. I work here. I'm a veteran. I get care here. Where the fuck, what is going on? Somebody needs to explain to me in person here while I'm here. I don't want to call a phone number. You feel me? And I dealt with this, and it got to the point where I got into it with these people. You feel me? To the point where they called the security on me like they called the security on this guy in the movie. Luckily, the security knew me because I worked there. So he was kind of like, chill out. But I'm like trying to explain the situation to him. But he's like, bro, there ain't nothing I could really, I just felt like my hands was tied. Now, let me tell you what the worst part of the situation is. The worst part of the situation is this happened in January of 2017. I had just spent my money on my kids' Christmas gifts, and because I'm expecting to get my check on the 1st, right? And I spent my rent money on the Christmas gifts because I'm like, well, shit, it's all good. Come the 1st, I'm already have this money back, so let me go on ahead and spend this little $500-$600 on my kids, and that's what I did. I had my oldest son, my daughter, and I had a newborn son. You know what I'm saying? Well, he wasn't newborn. You know what I mean? He had just turned 1, so basically a small infant, damn near. You know, kid. He's not running around yet, so he's not a toddler. But that's neither here nor there. The point of the story is I spent my $600 out my rent money on my kids, and when that money didn't hit, and I have to go through litigation in order to get my money back, I ended up getting evicted from my apartment, bro. I ended up getting evicted from my apartment on January 5th, 2017. They were putting notices on my door. The sheriff was about to come kick in my door because I wasn't getting out fast enough when the rent was due on the 3rd. You know what I mean? So by like the 6th, you know what I mean? They already putting shit on my door trying to take me to court and shit. So I had to get the fuck out of there. But had the VA gave me my motherfucking money, I wouldn't even been in this situation. And it was the same situation because they had taken it out with the same excuse, like, oh, you owe some money for some school that you didn't complete. No, bitch, I already had paid them motherfuckers back before. You know what I'm saying? They took that shit out on my initial lump sum that I had gotten 2 years prior when I became service connected. So how you going to tell me damn near 2 years later at the beginning of the year that you're going to take out some money that had already been taken out, bitch? Like, y'all, like, when I tell y'all God works in mysterious ways, man, God works in mysterious ways. God must have realized that I was getting too worked up and triggered by giving y'all a review of this movie, and my fucking phone died. Luckily, thanks and shout out to iPhone, I don't have to record this video all over again because it actually saved what was recorded prior to that. That's why this video cut a little bit. But yeah, continuing with the story, man. I definitely felt that because the same exact thing happened to me. I got evicted and I ended up having to move out of that apartment and in with my homie. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy D-Boy. You know what I'm saying? I had to move over there for a few months. I ain't even gonna lie, until I got back on my feet, until I got that shit resolved, really. But in the meantime, in between time, I understand where that dude was coming from when I was watching it, because I myself was that worked up. And in the movie, he got worked up at the VA and they beat his motherfucking ass and threw him out. Like I said, the same thing happened to me. I got so worked up like that, the security came, but I knew the security, so it was a chill situation, and I worked there too. But that's what the most fucked up thing about it was, is that I worked there too. You know what I'm saying? And I got my care there, and it's still giving me the runaround, telling me to call elsewhere. You feel me? And it's like, you know, I can't even imagine what that dude was going through at that time in 2005, where the fucking, or when did this take place? In 2017, you know what I mean? When I can't imagine what he was going through, because I was going through the shit at the same time. But I'm just saying, like, you know, the average person can't imagine what he was going through at that time, you know, to where he would want to, I guess my point is, to where he would want to go in there and blow some shit up. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we differ. That's where our stories kind of split apart, because he chose to go into the bank and get his attention that way. See, me, what I chose to do is a little bit different. I chose to go and kick in motherfuckers' doors. And that's not something that I'm proud about, but that's something that I definitely will do again if I had to ever do again. And I hate that it ever even came to that. But, you know, I'm the type of person, I got have money, have heart tattooed on me for a reason, which means I'm going to have some money regardless. And have heart means I'm going to do whatever it takes to get some money, legally or not. You feel me? You know, but I understand what could make a motherfucker want to go in there and blow the whole fucking bank up behind, you know, his money. $892. You feel me? Damn near around the same amount of money as I was over here. I think my shit was like 400, 500. No, my shit was like $600 exactly, because that's how much I spent. I said, I got 600 coming. I'm gonna spend this 600, and that's what I was short on my rent for. You feel me? And the worst thing about it is nobody came to my rescue with that. You feel me? And part of that is because of my pride. Part of that is because of my pride, not asking nobody. And part of that is because motherfuckers knew my situation, and they had no problems popping bottles with me, or me helping them pay their bills or shit like that. But nobody came together and passed the hat around and you know, but I wasn't tripping, because some of them same people that I probably expected to do that put me onto some money anyways. Like I said, you know, I ain't proud of the shit, but I didn't go in no bank. I choose to kick in motherfuckers' door and lay him down. And y'all know how that goes. You feel me? It wasn't no innocent people. It was people that was already in the streets doing whatever they was doing. So I don't feel bad about it at all. And I would do that shit again if I had to. But the moral of the story is just, you know, unless you've been through that kind of shit, you can never understand how a person feels who's been in our situation, who has our background, who's been to war, who has PTSD, and it's documented, you know what I'm saying, medically, like mine is, like I'm sure his was. You feel me? All of us deal with things a different way. Like I said, he chose to go into the bank, you know, and he didn't even have a bomb. That's the whole thing. They said he had a bomb. He didn't even have a bomb. So he really died for nothing, over $892. You know what I'm saying? But then you got people like me that's like, fuck it. You know, I'm tired of being at the bottom. I'm going to do something to get myself back on top. And that's what I did. And I didn't look back. And I turned a lot of that illegal money for the next 2 years that I was kicking indoors and doing whatever, because it didn't stop there. You know, I eventually transitioned to where I'm fully legit legal now, years and years and years later. You feel me? I've been out the streets almost 7 years this year. You feel me? And I don't plan on going back, but you know, you never know what could trigger you and what could make you snap and what could make you pop off. And I'd be a lie if I said that I don't have to contain myself sometimes and the things that I say to people and the things that I want to do to people sometimes. And it's hard. But you know, everybody deals with their own, you know, stress and you know, other things that might bring you down differently. And it's unfortunate that this dude lost his life. And at the end of the movie, this happened in 2017, to this day, they still haven't given his family that money. And that's crazy. This dude lost his life for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up not even owing the school money. Like I said, it was the same situation, same exact situation as mine. I didn't owe the school. I had already paid the debt. They just, I don't know where the communication was lost in the cloud or why they didn't take that money a lot earlier and took that shit damn near like a year later. You feel me? But yeah, I don't advise no veteran to watch this movie if you've ever had these kind of problems, if you suffer from PTSD, because, you know, it really made me tear up, man, to the point where I was about to start crying because I just felt his pain so much. I felt that shit. I really went through that shit. I had all these same emotions, but we dealt with it in 2 different ways. But I ain't gonna make this video too much longer, man. Thanks for rocking out with me if y'all stayed to the whole end of the video. And, you know, hopefully situations like this, you know, I'm sure they've happened all over America. I'm sure there's more people with the same exact story as ours. And you know, hopefully, you know, it doesn't result in the ending like this guy had. And thankfully for me, I didn't take the same approach and it didn't end the same way. You know what I mean? But shout out to all the veterans out there, especially the ones that are service connected and dealing with PTSD, things like that I'm service connected for. And, you know, salute and thank you for your service. King.